Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Eric. Together we're just got played. We're at the Cloak and Blaster.
We are.
Late into the evening on a Tuesday night. And we just got done playing Galaxy Trucker by Rio Grande Games. And the designer is Vlad Shvloglabu.
Correct.
Eric, tell us a little bit about Vlad Shvloglabu's game, Galaxy Trucker.
You got it. Galaxy Trucker is a game where you are dinosaurs.
No, wrong game.
Wrong game? Oh, okay, looking at the pieces. Okay, so Galaxy Trucker is a game where you are...
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
I mean, you could be dinosaurs. There's nothing, I mean, if you want to pretend. But Galaxy Trucker is a game where you are dinosaurs flying through space, bringing...
Cargo parts.
No, not cargo parts.
Salvage parts.
Salvage parts, yes. Salvage parts of old spaceships, and not only that, you aren't just bringing them, you are building a spaceship out of old spaceship parts to fly them, to deliver them to somebody that wants to buy them. And what that entails over the course of the game is you have two sort of phases. The first phase is all of these tiles, like here, and there's a lot of them, are all face down, and in real time, everybody starts picking up tiles, looking at them, and deciding whether they want to put them on the ship or put them back face up on the table. And once they're face up on the table, other people can then choose to either take the face up tiles or look at face down tiles and do the same thing that I described before. And as you place them on the ship, you kind of build out the ship. And then after everybody's done building their ships, and there's a timer involved if you want to include it, I recommend including it. I think it adds a fun aspect of the game. But once everybody's done building their ships, you go to the second phase of the game where there are these cards. There's this nice little event deck that gets built every round. And the first round of the game, the event deck's pretty small. Second round of the game, it gets a little bigger. Third round of the game, it's pretty big. And there's different decks of cards that they get dealt from. So the third round cards are a lot worse than the first round cards, but your ship is a lot bigger in the third round than it is in the first round, and you've got a lot more capability in your ship. And the idea is that then after that real-time phase, you go into this and you just one card at a time, you go through and show that we're going through a meteor swarm, so everybody's ship's going to get beat by meteors. We're going to roll these dice real quick, and we got a big meteor coming for the front at 11. And you look at the 11 column on your ship, and if you don't have a gun to shoot that big meteor, you lose a part of your ship. And you just go through the entire deck of cards that way. There's pirates, there's slavers, there's smugglers, there's meteor swarms. Sometimes there's just plain old open space where you get to fire your engines and just try to go forward as fast as you can. All sorts of different things. And once all those cards are done, whoever is first place on this track around here, so resolving some of the events makes you go backwards in spaces, and whoever's first gets first choice of a lot of those things. But at the end of it all, after it's all shuffled, whoever's first gets a reward for it. Second place gets less money, third place gets the next money, fourth place gets less money. Whoever's got the prettiest ship at the end of it all, so the least exposed connectors, so kind of building your ship more perfectly than the other players, you get rewarded for that. And any cargo that you picked up along the way, when you found planets and you stopped and picked them up, you can also sell those for money. And the goal at the end of the game is just to have the most money. So you play 3 rounds, and whoever's got the most money wins.
That's an excellent definition.
Very brief synopsis.
It is. I mean, there's so much involved in this game. For example, like Eric mentioned, you pick up cargo right from planets and stuff, but not if you didn't put enough cargo containers on your ship like I did. And then you could have shields, but you have to have batteries to power those shields. And there's all these parts that interact with each other in an important way throughout the entire part of the game. Just the very way you lay them out on your board is really important, because you're rolling 2d6, right? So statistically, the highest possibility of getting something is the number 7. So anything in the 7 column is going to be more
More likely to get
vulnerable.
hit.
Yeah, more vulnerable than the rest of the ship. Really, really cool. I love that aspect of the game. It's not what I'm going to say is my favorite part. But Eric, if you had to pick one thing that you love the most about Galaxy Trucker, I know you love it because you play it quite a bit.
I don't want to say I play it quite a bit, but I don't get to play it nearly enough. I do like the game. If I had to say something that I liked about Galaxy Trucker is, I do not remember.
Well, I'll tell you what I like the most about it.
Please do.
And you can try to think of something.
Maybe I can riff off of it.
I remember what you said, so I'm not going to steal it.
Okay. Please do.
What I liked the most about Galaxy Trucker is, and I'm a sucker for this kind of interaction in games. I absolutely love this part, is there's an exploration aspect of this game when you flip over an event card, and both of us have got to deal with it. And part of that really cool part is, if Eric's in front of me, which I intentionally try to do most of the game, it's my first time playing, I want to make sure Eric goes out front. He's got to deal with it first, and if he deals with it, I don't have to deal with it. In some things.
Intentionally.
In some parts, like pirates and smugglers, the bad guys, you had to deal with them. I didn't. Asteroids we both had to deal with. But the very fact that you're going through this kind of new exploration, and it's different every time you play, and it's going to be an exciting kind of challenge. I think you have an ability, I know you have the ability, to look at the cards during the course of the game, so you can try to plan it out, but by the third level, there's so many different things that can happen, it's hard to keep them all in mind and then try to plan for it all. That's the part I like the most, the exploration part, the part that is going to be different every time we play, and it's something unique and interesting, like, oh no, now we both have to deal with this event, even though it's not co-op. I like the idea that both of us are dealing with the event and it's not co-op. I'm psyched about that part. I'm a little energetic, I apologize, but that's
Don't apologize, I love it. I love the energy.
Yeah, I'm not anymore in pants. Eric, if you had to pick something you like the least about Galaxy Trucker, what would it be?
I'm gonna take my pants off now. But no, if I had to pick something that I really liked about the game, and I'm going to establish, just like Lloyd has player powers, variable player powers in a game, I like games that tell a story. And that's one of the things that I really, really do enjoy about this game, is that deck of cards right there, is that cooperative concept of our ships are all going through the space and dealing with the same crap that everybody else is going to have to deal with. I mean, there is the interesting mechanism of whoever's in first, especially with like pirates and slavers.
That's
but I mean,
cool.
hell, there's an option even there that, like, if I'm really leading and I know nobody behind me can take the pirates, maybe I don't power my guns. Maybe I just let the pirates do a little bit of damage to me. That way they can just destroy everybody else behind me. You know, you've got those choices. I like that the game tells a story when I play it. So.
And another great thing about the game, if I'm allowed to say more than one, is the actual shipbuilding aspect, because it allows people, I don't know, there's so many things about a lot of games where, and especially Euro games, where people get really excited about building their engine or building whatever. You're essentially spending the first phase of this game, and there's a timer. You've got to have the timer, Eric.
Agreed.
You have to have the timer when you do this, because it adds some level of excitement and oh no, I need this, I really am looking for this kind of part. And even at one point, I was telling you, oh wait, there's a gun over here, which I know is not co-op, but it was still kind of fun just to kind of do. But you're building this engine and this thing that you're going to adventure forth into that event deck, and the building aspect I think is really cool, and I think a lot of people get excited about that. So the building aspect and the event cards, I think, are two things that both of us can agree upon.
Oh yeah, and the building aspect
awesome.
gets a lot more fun with more players too, because it seems like a lot of pieces, but all of a sudden it becomes not enough pieces once you look at the event deck a little bit and you're like, oh crap, I need crew cabins. Wait a minute, where's all the crew cabins?
And it's a spatial relationship. I don't know if we mentioned this before in the description, but there's a spatial relationship. So some parts don't fit onto other parts, and you have to figure out the part that you need that does fit onto those parts. So that's kind of important too. I dislike that. My brain doesn't work spatially like that very well, so it takes me, so I didn't mind being last every time and going down to the timer, because I realized that's not my strong suit, right? Like the fact that this thing can stick on, there's a universal part that can stick onto three things, or there's one plug that sticks into one, or two that sticks into two. They don't all fit together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and I've never had creative puzzles. So that's the thing I like the least about it.
Well, that's a shame.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, didn't mean I didn't like it. It just means I like it the least. And if there's something you like the least.
So I'm going to preface what I like the least with something that, like, I've discovered over the years of playing this game can be very polarizing, and I do think that I've met a lot of people that seem to have an issue with sort of the chaos that this game has with that event deck, and that like I have very little control over what happens because of the dice and because of how the events come out. And hell, even just because of the player order, because the guy in front of me could choose not to power his guns and just choose to screw me for no reason other than just because he could. You know, that if I want to play a game where I have full control of my fate, this game's going to be tough. You kind of have to let go and accept that the game's going to kind of take you along and build the most well-rounded ship that you possibly can. I mean, I do think there's strategy in building a good ship always. But for me, anyway, and I was talking to you about it earlier, but like when I purged my collection and brought it down, one of the big criteria for me was what I'm going to call fiddliness. And I don't like games typically that have a crap ton of pieces. And I mean, in this game, in between rounds, you know, round one, we build a small ship, but then we got to flip all these tiles back over, and we got to take all these pieces off, and we got to put all these little dudes back in a tray, and we got to do all this, and then we got to do it again, and we do that. And so I mean, there's so many little pieces in this game, and I generally don't like that, but I do love the experience that this game has, which is why I chose to keep it. But
and you kept, ironically,
Steampunk Rally?
Steampunk Rally.
Similar experience, and I believe I said one of the things I really liked about the game is the storytelling aspect of that. I love that, like I can imagine, I can really immerse myself in the game, and I can imagine what's happening. Like
in Steampunk Rally,
that feels good.
In Steampunk Rally, there's an aspect of the game way different from this, where you can just kind of blow your steampunk vehicle apart to try to cross the finish line. Yeah. That's very, very cool. And it's different from this, so I can see why you'd keep them both. Why you'd go both ways on that.
Yeah, I do like to go both ways sometimes.
I know, and I love you for it. I'm Patrick, that's Eric. This is Just Got Played and the Cloak and Blaster. We're here on a Tuesday night. We welcome you to join us anytime you want. Cloak and Blaster is absolutely amazing. And so is Eric. So join us sometime.
Thanks. Anytime you want, only on Tuesdays. Usually on Tuesdays. I don't know, have you guys ever been here on other Tuesdays? Like non-Tuesdays?
Special events.
Special events.
Special events.
Tuesdays and special events at the Cloak and Blaster. Join us.
They have us come in on special events, mop the floors, plunge the toilets.
That is special.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they want the place to look nice, so.
That's how we roll.
You don't have to do that part. You're the talent.
The talent?
That's how much trouble we're in. You're the talent.